Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about exactly whether or not it's going to be worth it picking up Cyno for you right now. Now this extends beyond just how fun is he going to be useful in certain team comps, how does he compare to other characters, because right now if you're just strictly asking my opinion, Walrus, just get all this other stuff out of the way. I'm not going to be objective and think about how you feel and what's valuable to everybody. I'm just going to think about whether I think he's a good character and worthwhile to pick up. Of course, I'm gonna say yes because I have hundreds of dollars to spend on this game and you necessarily don't, right? So for people who are free to plays, is it worth it? For people who are veterans, is it worth it? For people who really like his play styles and also have the money, is it worth it? Also for people who really want to play him, however, don't have the money and have to give up some primo gems that they've saved up to kind of grab him now and likely lose out on characters next patch, is it worth it? And I know the knee-jerk reaction right now, immediately a lot of people are like, nope, not worth it. Nope, definitely not worth it. Not for anybody, not in a million years. This character's not worth it. I know you guys exist, and I don't want to be here selling a lie saying that this character is going to be worth it for everybody, but it's not as bad as it seems, okay? There is a scenario where I do think a group of people likely should be picking up Cyno. But first I have to correct a lot of the things people were saying in my previous video, and if you haven't seen my previous video, it was a video mostly talking about Cyno's shortcomings that I found with his first impressions, and most of that stuff, if not all of them, have stuck with me even now because I've tested out like over 6-7 different teams that I wanted to play with him, and unfortunately none of them really could fix all of his issues. Now that does not mean these issues will persist forever. I believe in time, just like it did with Kokomi, Yaimiko, these characters do end up getting better. However, right this very moment, the vast majority of people will face one or the other major difficulties when you're trying to play Cyno, which essentially puts him in the crosshairs of many players in that he isn't functioning at peak efficiency. Imagine buying a car for yourself that should be able to go at 150 kilometers an hour at top speed. However, right now you can only get to 120, and that last 30 kilometers requires a future update for this vehicle, which you can then unlock that update package by spending more money. But hey, your car that you bought right now can run up to 120. That's pretty fast. Why would you need to go faster than 120? Like, what are you trying to do here? If you're just driving to and from work, what's the rush, right? You're not going to really go beyond 120. However, you're paying for that 150 kilometer per hour top speed for a car that can only go to 120. That's the best way I can explain how Cyno feels like for people who currently owns him. I don't think it's fair to say that he sucks. And if you guys recall in my video, I never said he sucks. I asked, wait, does he suck? And the title says why everybody is scared to say Cyno sucks. But I myself never said he sucks, okay? And I don't think he sucks. I think he's sitting in a very uncomfortable position right now, which makes it very, very difficult, if not impossible, to justify or to support people who say that he's a worthwhile pickup. Now let's go over each group of players. If you are a free-to-play player who's watching, you really enjoy Cyno's playstyle, and you're like, damn, I've been saving for him for a couple months, if not a year now. You've been just skipping a lot of characters hoping he coming out, but you also want future characters in the next banner, and you're conflicted right now. You're like, damn, what should I do? Honest to God, the smart thing to do right now is to skip Cyno, pick up the Dendro Archon, and then see what people say. How much of Cyno's issues will go away when you have the Dendro Archon, because right now a lot of people are putting a lot of faith and copium into the Dendro Archon fixing some of these issues, if not all of them. We're talking regen issues, Dendro application issues, buffs staying on him for the entire duration of his burst, or remove Shielder, bringing up available team slots for other characters to fill in for some of his shortcomings. When I'm talking about buffing as well, you don't necessarily have to have a buffer, I understand. However, right now Viridescence is a pretty good option that people want to run with Cyno, but unfortunately with that 10-second duration for the Viridescence effect, the last 8 seconds of Cyno's burst isn't gonna be taking advantage of it. Now a lot of people would be saying like, well, then why don't you just cancel out his burst early? Wow, what a big brain suggestion. Why don't you just will willingly exit out of the burst like you would do with Eula, like you would do with Yoimiya, Hu Tao, like all of these characters, you can switch off of them. You're not forced to stay all the way till the end. Well, you're absolutely right. Now to that, I want to just mention that other characters exit out of these elemental infusion periods or end their burst early in the case of Eula is because of diminishing returns. At that very moment, if you continue doing damage or you continue staying in this state, you are either wasting time, wasting damage, or both. Right now for Cyno is definitely in the scenario where you are going to be wasting both. You're not going to be doing sufficient damage once all the buffs and all the shields or all this stuff runs out or the enemies are outside of the Dendro field. Then why are you even in your burst? Him in his burst state with no buffs, no shield, no reactions is not good at all. So at that point, you have to exit out. You're essentially forced to. It's kind of like if you're running Hu Tao and then your Xinqiu burst ends or your Yelan burst ends. At that point, you might as well just switch out and restart your rotation, reset everything back up and go again. But for Hu Tao or Yoimiya, even Tartaglia, right? They have elemental skill infusions. These infusions cost you nothing but just rotation time. Whereas Cyno is his burst skill. If you cut out of his burst skill, getting that burst skill back could be quite the task depending on how your Cyno is built. If you have around like 140, 150 energy recharge, 2 Favonius weapons, you should be doing okay. Like it's not great, but it's fine. If you have 120 energy recharge with 2 Favonius weapons, you're going to find yourself rotating through 2 to 3 times of your ability just to get your burst back up. And then you're going to have to run the exact same scenario where you have to cut out of your burst 8 seconds early. Now you see, at this point, I'm just starting to wonder, then what is the point of his burst even being at 18 seconds? Now, the answer is, of course, likely to be the Dendro Archon. I'm not denying that. And that is why for free-to-play players, if you're watching this, skip Cyno. Even if you want him now, if you're smart, skip him now. See how he synergizes with the Dendro Archon and how much of his shortcomings can be eradicated simply with the addition of one new unit. Moving on to players who are on the fence about him, thinking about it, and have some money to spend. You're like, you know what? I can drop 20, 40 bucks and I can pick him up. Or I somehow landed his weapon and now I'm just wondering, should I pick up this character? I still have the funds and I can guarantee him and another character from next patch. Is he a good character? Currently right now, Cyno is considered a very underwhelming character. He's okay. He gets the job done. He has enough damage. Actually, he has more than enough damage in his kit to get the job done. So if you're worried about not being able to beat the game or not being able to kill enemies, don't even worry about that. Like I was saying, you can go from your home to your workplace, even riding a freaking bicycle, right? You can get the job done. Cyno in this case feels much more like a motor scooter or like an old mid-2000s car, like a Honda Civic from 2005, whereas someone like Hu Tao feels like 2020 Mercedes, something like that, right? At the end of the day, you're all gonna get stuck in traffic, and that's a 200 kilometer per hour max speed really matters when you're driving at 30, 40 kilometers per hour, right? I mean, in the Abyss, that's the speed limit. If you can meet that simple speed limit requirement, you are going to be able to clear it just fine. So that's why I say Cyno can do all the jobs. And if you're okay picking up a character that's slightly weaker on the damage side, but in my opinion, much more fun, I think he's a pretty decent pickup. And that goes to every single category of player, with exception to the free-to-plays, because if you're free-to-play and you pick up Cyno and you can't pick up the Dendro Archon, you're gonna have a bad time, because I don't find playing him very pleasantful currently, even though his combat style is fun. I hope that makes sense, right? I find his combat style fun, but I don't find it very pleasant playing him with the team comps available to him right now. All in all, if you have more money to spend than you care for and you actually like this character, pick him up. But he's by no means a meta defining character. He's by no means going to reshape the meta. Even with the Dendro Archon at this one, it's very unlikely he's going to make major changes to how we perceive DPSs and how they work. He's just gonna be one of those good-ish characters that gets the job done in a different way. Okay, that's all I want to say about Cyno. I'm super happy that I picked him up. I got his weapon as well, and while going for his weapon, I also got the bow for my Venti. So I won out huge on Cyno's banner, and I'm gonna continue playing him, building him, and try to maximize his potential in my own way. The last thing I just want to mention, sorry I forgot about this earlier, is that for people running Thundering Fury, I don't suggest you running that artifact right this very moment because of the inconsistency consistencies with reactions. Right now, the Dendro characters can get the job done, but a lot of scenarios will have it where the enemies don't have Dendro applied on them. Either they walked out of the zone or your Dendro application just timed out. And then you have no Dendro reactions and your E, and by then your E cooldown is going to be severely mistimed to your skill passive, meaning when the eye appears, your E is going to be on cooldown, and then when your E is not on cooldown, the eye doesn't appear. So I guess you have to wait until the eye reappears. It's a huge DPS loss if you don't rotate through that properly. So that's all I wanted to say. Run the Gilded Dreams right now until next patch when the Dendro Archon comes out, and if she has consistent and lasting Dendro application, then we can go back to the Thundering Fury set to get this extra damage boost for our boy Cyno. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys can understand why I'm coming from this direction. Again, if I want to sell this character, trust me, I can just blindly sell him and tell you guys how good he is, but I don't think that is fair, and I don't think that is what you guys subscribed for. Okay, with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, urge y'all to stay safe, and peace. Bye.